games. It's ScrubGames. Double up. Drop a like, drop a sub, go ahead and subscribe to ScrubGames. Drop a like, drop a sub, go ahead and subscribe to ScrubGames.
How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today I'm just going to go over, not maybe as quick as possible, what non-Yoda decks I've been enjoying for this format, because yeah, I've been since I found sold the combo for a Yoda, I've been playing that a lot, like a lot. Testing both the burn version and the build-a-board version, just having so much fun pulling off the combo. It's just so satisfying. But there have been some non-Yoda decks that I have been testing out and have been actually enjoying, because one thing with me is I don't really like playing meta unless it's my favorite deck, or like the kind of thing that appeals to me. So things like I don't really like aggro, so Sabine and Django are not things I really like playing, like the very aggressive full-on version. And I was enjoying Han yellow, but then the DJ combo just feels nasty, and yeah, it's like it takes a lot to takes quite a lot to play Han 1 with all like the options and like the flexibility and stuff. And I just got a bit where I like to try out like a different deck every week for locals and just try out different things out. I didn't want to keep sticking onto it, so I kind of like dropped it, and I haven't attempted to go back. But then yeah, just like I really like blue in this game and just to like control, so I just have kind of not bothered going back to it yet. But there are some decks I've been enjoying just like play casually, and some decks that I feel aren't really seen much, and I thought I'd just share the kind of decks I've been enjoying for this format. So before we get into it, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Keep you updated with my videos as when they drop, and by clicking that notification bell, you can then get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the decks that I've been enjoying playing. That's not Yoda. Right, so the first one is probably I think the last deck I played in 2024, so last year, and that is non-Yoda with Exploit. Now this is one that I got the inspiration of, because it's not my idea or anything like that. It's just inspiration I got from watching the I watched on every Wednesday maybe a bit of time after the FFG streams, because it's quite interesting to see when they got spoilers like deck building, because they didn't play like full on meta, which is pretty boring. Just watch meta all the time, but they play some quite fun, unique decks they've built themselves, and just see something different, which is always cool. Which I really like about that when they do things like that on the streams. And one of the ones was, I think, Danny Schaefer. He was playing a non-Yoda deck with the Droid Manufactory, focusing on using exploit with cheap units to kind of get out some of these big exploit units, and also trigger heal thanks to the clone stuff, and be able the ability to play all the like clone stuff in a dark side deck. So also having access like Tech and Wrecker in a Villainy deck is pretty cool, and having the Droid Manufacturer, so you can get a basically able to get free exploit fodder thanks to the effect. Like you have a lower health base, but you get healing thanks to non-Yoda when clones are taken out, and also be able to bring out some big things. And there's a pretty cool combo with this. I found like if you got the right amount of cards and your board's like kind of left alone, you can potentially drop both the 9-drop unit, so Malevolence and the big tank thing, the super tank. You can drop them both on your deployed turn, so turn 3. You can drop them both down at the same time. And I've tested that. You can get it if you get the right cards, right combinations. You can get that out, which is pretty cool. Getting a 7/7 ship down on turn 3 and a 8/8 super tank down on turn 3. So both of them out together. So you're then swinging for 15 damage in your next turn, while also healing 2 and just being like huge and beat 6 as well. That's pretty cool. And it is pretty nice. It's like something unique as well, because like you get the clones. You got some good like nice things with the clone package. Having a mega, be able to grab any of the clones for the top 5, and even be able to be played out from a Cobb Vamp when it's died. So like you got things like Cobb Vamp, the two like separatist units, the 2 costs that you can play on turn 1 to keep a unit on board. When it's defeated, you get a battle droid token, so it keeps like on board for exploit. And even Patch Brothers be able to get 2 units out for the cost of 1, which free of cost, but for the cost of playing 1 unit. And then even like Pog with the Lesser be able to give you battle droid tokens whenever you play a card, just to keep things on board and having cheap clones as well. And then be able to exploit all those clones for your bigger units, your like big units you can drop earlier thanks to exploit, and then trigger healing to keep your base healthy. And even then, you don't need 2 events you need to play, or like I've been playing. It's just Obi-Wan Barrage because it's such a powerful card, especially when you can drop one of those big units on turn 3. And then when you get to turn 4, you can then start Obi-Wan Barrage, like wipe out most of your opponent's entire board with it as well, which is cool. Even take out leader deployers, but just swing with it. They think their leader's safe to not be attacked into by this big unit, and then Obi-Wan Barrage comes and wipes out anyway. And then having Tiny Adventure to make give some more ambush to some of the cards, where they can exploit them quite cheap using Tiny Adventure to have that surprise ambush they're not expecting as well. And the nice thing about it as well is having access to tech in a Villainy deck is something that no other Villainy deck has, unless they want to put in and pay even more resources, like pay the aspect penalty. And being able to not have the aspect penalty in that to smuggle anything is pretty cool. And even then, Wrecker is a pretty nice thing to have in addition to the dark side stuff. And then with the side deck, I didn't put much in. I just put some entrenched in, so that way you can make your leader bigger so it sticks around to heal, and then start actually threatening things by being a 4/10. No, yeah, 4/10. And you will sit the Scanning Officer, that's what it's called, Scanning Officer for hand. And you've got Droideka Security, gives you some Sentinels against some aggro decks, and even Gore as a never exploit when you can have to come down and be pretty threatening. Not need to have ambush because it already has, and be a 6-drop as well. You can play as like an alternative Wrecker if you don't see Wrecker. So yeah, this is a very fun deck. I've been testing it. I've even got gameplay on it if you want to check it out. And yeah, it's a really fun deck to try. Next, we've got Double Red Vader. Vader is one of my favorite leaders from this game because I've been playing it since I was playing it in set 1, like near the end of set 1, and I was loving the heart control. Like heart control deck with Vader was just so much fun. Props to my buddy Johnny for giving me an initial list, like his list to try out, and I kind of did switch to then playing like Palpatine near the end of set 1 because I found out the yellow version. I had a lot of fun playing that. And I just like those more like grindy long games, down like the aggressive quick games. And then with Vader, like the thing with Vader is that in set 2 he kind of got outclassed by a boss because the main ways you played Vader from set 1 was green or blue. Because back in set 1 you didn't have like only one leader in each set. In each aspect was good to play double aspect, and Vader was not like double red was the worst one. And even then, yellow was more underworld stuff. So there wasn't really much in terms of great cards to have with Vader for yellow. So the main ways you played was green and blue. So you played blue for hard control and then green for mid range. But then when Boss came out in set 2, Boss got overshadowed that because it's free bounties and be able to like chip away, deploying a little bit earlier and just having a better time to ramp with the bounty ramp and stuff like that. So for Boss came more relevant in the 2, like basically the Vault 1 to play. If you're playing the same combination for Vader, you play Boss instead because it's just a lot better. And even that's still true now. But one nice thing it does have over Boss is playing Double Red, and Double Red has got a lot better since the beginning. Like even now with set 3, didn't get too much in terms of cards, but it's got more red cards, like more like solo red cards, more red Villainy cards, and it's just got more options. And also the one thing I really like about Vader is that you can also damage base as well. So when you're being aggressive like this with Double Red, you still want pinging bases because as long as you're playing a Villainy card every turn and have that one resource up, you can then go Vader ping it and also way to finish off units as well. Like you avoid using Force Choke. If you don't have Force Choke for like things like Pershing when they come down, you can always use Given to Mana to deal 1 damage, leader to ping 1 and target time to finish it off to make sure they're not keeping that on board. And then yeah, like I said, you've got Force Choke is very cheap removal, and even then, Force Choke can potentially take out some leaders at 6 health because you do 5 damage with that, and then as long as you've got resource open, Vader can ping and finish them off. And you've got some good Force cards as well, and even like Ruthless Vader is a very nice card. And you've got some basically just like constant damage, kind of good removal until you can deploy Vader. Like Vader does deploy very late, but when it does come down, it's normally commanding unless your opponent can deal with it. It's not going to hit hard and just start helping you clear the board a lot easier. And then, like, for the side, we've got two of each of the cards in there. We got one, the spaceship that helps stop healing. Now this is kind of a little bit better than Wolf due to the fact that it's a dark card, so you can trigger Vader's ping, and it's just always in effect when it's on board, so you can't just turn it off by removing Wolf. And Wolf is only for a turn, so the turn it's going to Wolf is played is going to shut off healing for that turn. But if you don't finish him off or don't end it that turn, the next turn, if they can take out Wolf before he gets an attack in, he can then trigger his effect again. So like this one's kind of a bit more useful, and also he's got a little bit more health than Wolf does. Then you got Chaos of War being a way to do more damage to a base, but depending on hand. So if you're being a very aggressive someone, you can always have this in. So if you've got enough cards in hand, you can burn them an extra way. So it's like kind of double red's version of Four Calls, but it could be a bit better than Four Calls, whereas Four Calls could hits depending on the top cards of the deck, whereas Four Calls is more on the hand. So the more hand your opponent has, the more damage you do. Then you got Order 66. Execute Order 66. This is a very nice one for against those Jedi focus decks because it does 6 damage to them. But if you defeat that a unit using this, you get a clone token. But against those 7 health leaders like things like Quinlan and Anakin, this is a way that you can deal 6 damage to them without taking them out, and then ping the last damage thanks to Vader's effect to finish them off. So you won't get a clone token, and you'll do enough damage in 2 actions, which you'll get attacking, but you'll do 2 actions to basically just take him out. And you got Pillage as well for hand control, and you got Crate Dragon for those very long games. So you can put that down to kind of threaten, like get rid of this, or it's going to basically just throw more damage at you. And in set 4, you can get some more benefits. So it's like you got Notice Integrations being a very nice removal effect, and one that can get get through most things. Just put enough damage on it so it goes into 1. So unless the unit can't be damaged or they upgrade after, you can then take it out. You can go Notice Integrations, but it's do damage to it until it's got 1 HP left. Then use Vader to kind of fish it off. So like things like that, and more dark side cards and more good dark side cards, especially space units in the next set, can make a benefit of this. And Vader Red is just a lot of fun to play as well. Next, we've got Obi-Wan ECL. So this is one that I kind of used to make like a meta call for when Django's running around rapid, like target down focus decks, because you can like Obi-Wan's got a nice effect where you can heal 1 damage from a unit. So when you're playing against like Django and Cad Bane, where they like to ping damage to kind of say they can trigger target down or just ping damage either way. You can use Obi-Wan to heal him off, and then coming down, deploying as a Sentinel as well. So you have to go for him before they can get to your base. And the fact that you can then heal things, move the damage onto your opponent's units, off yours, and then put things like Jedi Lightsaber and General's Blade is really, really cool. And also, ECL is a pretty good base to go with it, because then you can ECL out a General Riken to get an attack something, and then either make him a Sentinel to boost himself, or boost up, or give 2 boosts if you do the base effect to give a Sentinel like Obi-Wan or like Bright Hope an extra 2 experience on him, so a little bit stronger, which is really cool. Or even then just be able to turn anything into a Sentinel whenever it attacks to kind of protect your base in that way. So a really cool little combo there. And as well as that, you basically in a later game, and you can start having Home One and Luke, like Luke coming to come down and minor stuff. Home One will be able to come down and bring out more things when you got like many units you can bring out. And then also even bring out more Lukes. And you got a lot of draw and also a little bit of ramp, so you can kind of get Obi-Wan out a bit quicker as well. But it's just more that the fact that Obi-Wan could heal damage off 1 units means you can kind of basically get around, like avoid the whole attacking town, like them ping units, then attacking town it. So you can kind of hold that off where they can't control the board game 1. Like in Django, they can still tap it using Django, but the nice thing is that you can hold it off and keep it around as well. And same with Cad Bane, when they can ping damage to kind of make it so they're like chipping away units, just heal the damage off, could be handy unless they go to ambush as well and sequence it correctly. And with the sign, we've got, like, sign's probably a little bit of a mess. We've got 3 scanning officer for against hand, because that's a good focus to kind of like stop them from DJing or just hold them off. Works a restock, because 1 restock as well for against hard control decks. Traitor has to be able to take your opponent's units against those decks like that, or even then against things like Django, when they put those what units can't be defeated, damage or captured, just grab those. Rivals 4 on the side, they help take out like problematic leaders, and then 2 Tranquility to kind of help against those high control decks. You can put a unit down and grab back itself over and over again to keep you with a cycle cards in your hand to be able to play. But this is a really fun one. It was like a good medical. Even now, it's still pretty good. I do enjoy it. It's probably one of my preferred go-to decks for playing competitively in this format at the moment. Next, we've got Iden Mill, and this is probably my most favorite deck in the game that I've, one of my most favorite ways in the game to play, because I do love Mill. Milling is one I do like those alternative win conditions, and Mill is one of those. Like, Mill isn't as great compared to other games where it's an alternative win condition. Where as soon as you deck out, that's it, you win. Things like in like Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh, and other games, you can deck out your opponent and then they lose as soon as they go to draw. But in this game, you don't do that. You start taking damage. It's still an alternative win condition because you deck them out. So now they're going to take damage after they can't draw, while you keep holding control of. And I do love those like more controlling games because then it's like a battle of wits and endurance, and then it depends. It comes down to whoever makes a mistake or then sequencing incorrectly ends up losing in the game. And Iden Mill is really good, especially against this format, whereas you get aggro, you can just hold off the board, just keep controlling it. You got things like Equalize Sword, there's like many space units, there's low ones as well, and the extra removal, like lots of removal. And then you can also tech, like we've got here, like tech for against those high control mirrors as well, just get you going up against those. To have like Bounty Hunter Screw to grab back things like your one copy of Restock you might lose, or your Vigilances, or your removal options, but also like ambushing as well. And in the side, we've got more ways to kind of deal with things. Like you've got repair if you need a little bit more healing. You've got an extra restock against those high control matchups. You've also got Bazine as well if you need to again like rip cards from hand, like take out problem cards in your opponent's hand. And then we got more removal options, like an extra copy of like Vanquish and also Fire Dragon for those bigger ones. And then we've even got calculated lethality for to get them against the hand decks when they want to drop DJs. An extra way to kind of remove it and deal with it, which is cool. Because sometimes if your opponent's got multiple things on board, Paradox Side or Merciless Contest aren't always enough to kind of deal with that. So you got a way to kind of target it and get rid of it in blue, which is cool. But yeah, this is one of my fun decks, and it was one I'm actually taking to the sector. I'm going to the sector qualifier in Liverpool in April. I think April, March, whichever month it is. I think it's in April. I'm definitely going to go to that because it's a big event in the UK for Star Wars, and it's a pretty nice one and a chance to potentially get some pretty good stuff. So I'm going to make sure to head out for it. I think we've got it sorted like going up. We just need to sort out hotels, but this probably might be the deck. Might be this or Vader control, depending on like if set 4 is legal. If I can get enough stuff from set 4, I might either be this or Vader control. We'll see. And then last but not least, we have Sabine Mandos. So, like I said, Sabine is like aggro isn't anything I like to play. Like I don't really enjoy aggro, and the main way people play Sabine is for aggro, going for like yellow to get hard or even green. So you can like use ECL to ambush in like Pwn Wrecker and stuff like that. But that's just not like how I like to play the game. Like being very aggro. So like what I do really like is the fact that Sabine is a Mandalorian and the Mandalorian stuff. Like Mandalorian's pretty cool. I love the Mandalorian show. And when we got the Darksaber set 2, that seemed really cool to like go with a focus on a Mandalorian. But then the Mandalorian itself like focuses too much on the revolves too much around the upgrades, whereas Sabine's a quite quick one you can get out, and also 4 resources is when she deploys, and that's when you can throw the Darksaber on her as well to then start boosting up all your Mandalorians that you have out. And there's some pretty nice Mandalorian effects. Like you've got some pretty cool cheap ones that you got like House Cast Soldier. You got I can't remember what the name is. Ketsu. I think it is. Yeah, Ketsu, and you got Sabine as well for once you play turn 1. Then from then on, you can again go ahead and play out things like the Night Owl Skirmisher, or the Mandalorian Warrior, so you can then boost up the one you play for turn 1, or even like you can potentially go ahead and play Concord Dawn Interceptors, which is a free cost Mandalorian as well, Mandalorian ship, and even the Sabine Fang Fighter, then the knockoff upgrades of things. It can be shields, things like that. Really nice card. And also some Mandalorian to boost up, and then you can deploy Sabine on your turn 3, so you can then throw the Darksaber on her to then swing and boost them more up, or even then break it down, put some like a Mandalorian armor on her, and also play out another unit, and even then have get back some of these upgrades like the Darksaber or Mandalorian armor with like Razor Crest, which is also Mandalorian, and then even have things like the Survivor's Gauntlet to move around the Darksaber, because that's one thing I did like about this, was that you can bring out Sabine and put the Darksaber on a swing, boost up your Mandalorians. Then the turn after, if your opponent can't deal with that, you can then swing with Sabine to boost up all your hit hard for the damage, and also boost up all the rest of your Mandalorians you have on board. Then play Survivor's Gauntlet to then move the Darksaber off of Sabine onto another eligible unit that hasn't attacked yet. Then attack with that, you then get you hit just as hard for that, and then boost up not only the unit you just played, Survivor's Gauntlet, because it's a Mandalorian ship, but also Sabine, and then you can do that all over again. Like keep doing that. It's like swing with a unit with a Darksaber, boost some of the rest, use the Survivor's Gauntlet to then move it onto another eligible unit attack, swing with that, boost up again, keep swinging hard and boosting as well. Or even then play out the armor to then give shields to your leader itself and whatever Mandalorian you have on board as well. And then you got the Mandalorian to come down and be a sentinel to protect yourself when you get 6 more resources. So you can then potentially heal completely off Ketsu or Sabine and have 2 shields on them, and then make them so that even stickier. And have the Mandalorian be a sentinel to protect your board as well, and even then then swing Darksaber boost up even more. And you've got some nice synergy with that with Mandalorians. Like we do want, like I'm hoping we get more Mandalorians in the future. It'd be cool to have that to go with it to make more Mandalorian focus with like Darksaber and stuff like that. But like yeah, like I do like playing Sabine as like a Mandalorian. I don't remember the term people use for it, like a tribal deck, like Mandalorian focus. And you got some non-Mandalorians in. I don't have a sideboard because I've just been testing the main deck first. But I've more got like some non-Mandalorians we've got in is like Cassian as a way to kind of finish off later in the game if you don't see Mandalorians or a resource. You've got Vigilance Protectors to kind of like protect your turn 1 play. So that way if you do have Sabine and Darksaber for the turn after, you can then come down and boost up what you've played turn 1, and then a Vigilance Protector is going to protect you. It's like a not Mandalorian, but you can always put in the Foundling if you want to put on the Vigilance Protector, so you can then boost it up. And you'll Philadran because like you don't care about the little units because you can deal with those easily enough, but then the bigger units you want to kind of deal with and get rid of. And then we got 1 Bravado as well. So if you DK a unit, you can potentially then restand Sabine with a Darksaber on to then swing again, boosting and also hitting hard. And also got Covert Strength as well, so you can kind of hit things like with Sabine or with other units and heal them up, boost them up as well to give him more experience and make him a little bit more deadly as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, this is probably my least like one I've played, like one I've played a bit more recently in the last couple of weeks, but it is a lot of fun. I would recommend giving it a try, and I do like the like focus on Mandalorians making full use of Darksaber and just being a big thing to put on Sabine and swing like in normal decks. It's quite nice to be able to boost up, and most of you things that you didn't realize the Mandalorians can get boost up as well. And the fact like Razor Crest can just come back and grab some of these upgrades as well. You've got some nice synergy with it as well. But that's all the decks that I've been, that non-Yoda decks that I've also been having fun with for the past couple of months as well. That I've been kind of testing on Carabas, just trying out. And if you want to see any of those played from our locals, feel free to just basically ask and try and get up. Or if you've got any questions about the deck list or any suggestions for them, feel free to do that as well. But these are like non-Yoda decks I've been having fun with. What I've been like when I've been kind of rest off of playing Yoda and like avoid the combo being just like boring to me, and just have a little break from that. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next one. Bye for now.